The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. Neil Bellaby here, Sales Manager at AIT. Today I'm going to be discussing how we can integrate Print Room with Pcounter. Before we get started, it's a webinar, so hopefully you can hear me, but I won't be able to hear you. So could I ask somebody just to pop in the either question pane or the chat window just to confirm that you can indeed hear me? Okay, excellent. Got confirmation that I'm audible, so that's a good start. Okay, so we often get asked, or we have them so many times in the past, about whether or not we can integrate a print room solution with Pcounter. A lot of our customers are after a solution whereby you have centralized reporting across your what we call pull print MFDs and your print room devices as well as any like desktop printers an organization may have. In the past that has been difficult because typically print room devices aren't going to be managed by Pcounter. So generally you end up with two different reports, one for the print room and one for the rest of the devices. Also what we get asked for is the ability to efficiently and easily submit or redirect more volume towards the print room. We do have a good way of doing that now. We kind of like had some methods in the past which were perhaps a little bit clunky. We now have a seamless method of submitting jobs or redirecting jobs from normal MFDs to the print room devices. Obviously a lot of users, a lot of organisations encourage that because generally the devices in the print room are able to offer a lower cost per page. So high volume jobs we generally want to go to the print room. So we use a job ticketing system which allows the users to either send the job to an MFD, for example to a pull print MFD, or to the print room, and we can also instigate some rules where if the job's over a certain volume it goes automatically to the print room. We do this using a single print queue. So as far as the user is concerned, it looks like a universal driver. What happens in reality is that we're using a job ticket, which if a user selects it to go to an MFD, it just pushes it onto the pull print queue. Where we're putting rules in place, there's a customized pop-up which we can use so the user knows what's happening with the job. We integrate the accounting with Pcounter, so regardless of where the job is printed, whether that be the print room or a normal office device, then Pcounter is going to be able to record for all activities centrally. So you have centralized reporting across the entire fleet, both by user and department. And we also provide an efficient way and an easy way of users sending jobs to the print room. So really trying to encourage those high volume jobs down to the print room to save on the cost per page. So how does this work? So I'm just going to run you through an example now. So there's a few different ways in which a user can submit a job to the print room. But what I want to show you first of all is the file and print method. So we have a user here, they've got an application open, and all they do is just go to the normal file and print, and then this will pop up our job ticket. It looks to the user like it's just a regular driver. But we can actually apply rules using this as well. So this ticket is fully customizable. So you can put the organization's logo there. You can change the lookout and the feel of the ticket. All the options are completely customizable. And the content can be as simple or as complex as desired. So it will reflect what's on offer by the devices in question. So if the MFDs in question have no finishing options available, then in terms of finishing here, we see no finishing. Should there be options available, then we can populate those in the job ticket. includes a job estimate as well, so they can see roughly how much that job is going to cost them according to what prices have been configured within the system. The user can then select where they want the job to go. So again, these tabs, you can name them what you want, but in this example we've called them the multifunctional printers and the print room. So if a user selects a multifunction printer, in the back end all it's doing is pushing that off to the relevant print queue, and that the driver will be automatically populated depending on what options the user has selected. So typically this will be going to a pull print queue. So we've got Pcounter in the background. We've got a whole load of Office MFDs on the pull print queue. This is simply pushing the job off to the pull print queue. The user would then walk up to one of those MFDs, authenticate in the usual way. So that could be username and password or ID card, biometrics for instance. Authenticate, access the list of print jobs they sent and release them. So that's kind of like a normal experience for them. They can select the relevant finishing options. As mentioned before, we're only showing the options available to those devices in question. They can also select to send the job to the print room. So if they select the print room option, then you automatically see additional options popping up within the job ticket. So again, you make these options, you configure these options based on what is available within the print room department. You can select from drop-down list, so select your paper colour, whether you want front and back colours, etc. And various finishing options such as hole punching, stapling, binding and all your usual type print room options. In the system, you can allocate a cost to each particular finishing option. You can also add the option for users to either collect or have the job delivered, so that's up to the organisation as to what service they offer. If you're using delivery, then the user can import a delivery address and also add any special instructions as well. Now we mentioned before that you can also apply rules, so a lot of organisations want to push higher volume jobs to the print room. That makes complete sense. Obviously, it offers a lower cost per page. Additionally, you don't have Office MFDs being tied up by large print jobs being run. So we can apply rules to help encourage that volume to go to the print room. So we can have advisory or mandatory rules. So in this particular example, we're going to use an advisory rule if the job is over 50 pages. If the job's over 100 pages, we're going to use a mandatory rule. So if a user tries to send a job and it's over 50 pages, they're going to get this pop-up message. Again, this can be completely customized, but this would be a typical example. The job exceeds 50 pages, please submit to the central print room. They then get detail on how much your job is going to cost if they send it to a normal MFD and how much it's going to cost if they send it to the print room. So they can see the savings there. Because this is only an advisory rule, the user then has the option as to where to send it. So they could continue with their original selection and send it off to a normal MFD and just go collect it at the device. Alternatively, they can say, okay, yeah, there's quite a cost saving to be made there, therefore I am going to submit this to the print room, and they therefore press the print room option. Now, if the job's over 100 pages, we're going to trigger a mandatory rule. So again here, message can be customized. They get the cost difference, but in this case, they only have the option to send it to the print room. So they'll send it to the print room. And then if they send it off to the print room, what happens? The print room job ticket will populate, fill in all the options that they require. They can then preview the job. So they select the preview option. They can then have a look at the job, make sure they're happy with it. Once they're happy with the preview, they close it down. Assuming they're okay with it, at that point, they'd click OK, and that would send it onto the print room. With every submission, you're always going to get a unique job reference number. So once the user submitted that job, they get confirmation. of the job reference number. This can also be emails as well, so particularly where you've got users paying for jobs to the print room, you might want to email them a receipt so that can give them a full breakdown. Alternatively, they can just take the reference number from the job ticket. So that's using the file and print method. So you can see there that it's a really easy way of directing jobs and applying rules to get larger volume jobs to go to the print room. That's something that we've been asked for a long time. Previously, what we had to do was use a rule within Pcounter, where the job's over certain pages, Pcounter will delete the job, and then you could send a pop-up message with a link to a URL to go to print room submission software, which meant the user then had to authenticate onto the web portal. They then had to re-upload the job and then fill in the job ticket, so a much more clunky way of doing it. This is obviously much more seamless, easier for the user, and therefore more likely for you to get more volume going into the print room, which is what we're aiming to do with this. So that's the file and print method. You've also got the web submission method as well. So you can log on to the job ticketing web portal, authenticate. So in this example, we use an email and password. You could use username and password as well if you wanted to. If you've forgotten your password, you can get an email reminder sent to you. So a similar experience to what a lot of users are used to, just generally logging into online sites. Once logged in, a user would choose to upload a document, so they just browse to the computer and just upload the relevant documents. In this example below. And then once uploaded, they get the job ticket. So this effectively, this job ticket is similar to what we're seeing when we're looking at the file and print method as well. So the job ticket will follow a similar format, but as mentioned, the job ticket can be completely customized. So you may have noticed in the previous example that we saw, we had the finishing and delivery options just in a list going down, but we can also have a tabbed view as well. So in this particular example of the job ticket, we've got the various tabs along the top. So we've got our printing tab, our finishing tab, delivery and special instructions. So they're all listed as separate tabs. So it'd be up to an organisation as to how they edit that. Same with the colour and the fonts and the background. This can all be customised to the customer's preference. And importantly, the options that are available to select, again, are customised depending on what's available within an organisation's print room, and costs are associated to those particular options. So a user would fill out the job ticket in much the same way as we saw in the previous example. They can preview the job as we saw before. Once they're happy with everything, they'll then submit that job. Just as an example, using some different fonts and colours here, so just edited it slightly, but of a different look and feel. And then we've got another example of a different job ticket. This is kind of like your default job ticket if you don't do any editing really. So again, a different look and feel. So we've covered file and print, we've covered web submission, we've also got hard copy submission of jobs to the print room. So if you've got somebody coming in and they've just got a document in the hand and they want to just get that copied, and we still want to account for that through the job ticketing software. So we can create a hard copy job ticket. So before the print room takes that particular job, the user still needs to fill in the job ticket in the same kind of way, selecting all the relevant options. And again, they will get a reference number for that particular job, and we can email that to them if they want as well. We can also provide an option to print a receipt as well. Again, that's customizable. It's up to the organisation whether they want that in place or not. So there are your three methods really for submitting a job to the print room. We've got the file and print, which is the one that we see predominantly used. We've also got the web submission and the hard copy. We've also seen how rules can be applied to direct jobs to the print room. What we're going to have a look at now is the experience from a print room operator's view. Okay, so this would be a typical layout. Again, as with most things within the software, it can be customized. But here we can see jobs coming into a help queue. Down at the bottom, we've got two different print queues. So this particular print room has two printers available. You could go into a larger print room and you see many different boxes there to represent all the different print queues, all the different printers that are available. When the job comes in, you can see some information at the top here, some quick fire information. The print room can decide which options are on display, so you can, those headings that we saw there, the print room can choose to reorder them, show different ones, show additional fields. It's up to them really. So again, the idea is that it is really customizable, so the print room operators can customize it to their preferences. Also, once you've highlighted a job, down on your right hand side you'll see the full job detail. So all this information has come over from the job ticket. So if you want to look at the detail on the job, just highlight the job and then it shows everything in the right hand panel here. You can preview the jobs. So you can preview the jobs with either just a single page, or you can have a look at a multiple page view as well. You see what you're about to print before you print it. Once you can just, when you're ready to work on a job, all you need to do is just drag and drop into the relevant output queue. You'll then get a dialog box popping up asking whether you want to copy, move, or reprint the document. So if we select the copy or move, then it's going to pull up the print driver for that specific printer. It's going to take the options which were populated in the job ticket and auto populate these into the print driver, which is great for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it saves a lot of time. For each individual job, the print room operator isn't having to go in and select each individual option, so you save a lot of time doing it this way. Also, it's less open for error as well. It's quite easy, especially on a busy day, for a print room operator to get a job ticket. The job ticket, may not be overly clear, especially if you have paper submitted job tickets, or it may be that they're busy and they just misselect one particular option, and then the print job has to be redone. If it's a particularly large job, then that could be an issue. You've got the cost implication there as well. So this way, it's a nice, fast, efficient method of populating the print driver depending on what the user has selected in their job ticket. Saves time for the print room operator, less open for error, so it's a great solution all round. If you select the reprint, just before I go on to that actually, just to say if you've got a fiery, the same applies, so it will populate the driver as you'd expect, or populate the fiery as you'd expect in the previous example. So it just takes the information that you've got from the job ticket and just auto populates that. Okay, if reprint is selected, it brings up a dialog box, and this just simply allows you to select a specific page range for printing. So maybe you don't want to print the whole document, you just want a specific page range. So all you do is select the relevant page range, and so the relevant page range, and that'll print out. Again, you can preview the job at this point as well. Okay, what you can also do, you can, once you've printed a job or once you process a job, you can have it archived. Now you can use what we call short-term retention. Now you'll see here you're able to set how long a job is retained for after it's been completed, and you can set that by the number of days, hours and minutes, and once that time has expired, that job is automatically deleted from the archive. Now this is handy because often you may print a job and it goes to the user, and for whatever reason the user is not happy with the job. You can then go back in and reprocess it without the user having to resubmit it. And then once that retention time has expired, then that job's going to be automatically deleted from the archive, so you don't have a massive build-up of jobs within the archive, which is pretty handy. Okay, just to say, I've just got a couple of questions coming in. My question pane is being a little bit temperamental, so I'm struggling to get the questions up. I can see I have questions. I'm struggling to see the questions. So what I'll do at the end of the show, at the end of the webinar, I'll run through any questions that have been unanswered. There's quite a lot of people on today, so I may not get through all the questions at the end of the webinar. Any that I don't get to, we'll follow up with you personally after the show. Okay, so that's your retention time. What we also have, this is pretty neat, we have a dashboard. So kind of like reminds me of the days when one of the earliest jobs I had working in a call centre, and you used to have a call board up, and you'd have different colour categories depending on how long the customer had been waiting. So if you had a lot of red there, you knew you were extremely busy because they were customers that had been waiting over a predefined time. We've got a similar thing here, so what you can do, and this would be ideal to put up on a wall monitor display within the print room, especially if it's a particularly busy print room. It just gives them a real high, oops, I just jumped on a little bit too quick there. Just gives the print room a really high level overview of what jobs are coming into the print room. So 4 different categories. So new, that obviously means jobs that have just come into the print room, we haven't started processing them yet. Printing, so they're jobs that we're in the middle of printing. We then got printed, awaiting finishing, and then we've got finished, so that's jobs that have been finished and have been, binded, been stapled, etc. So all the finishing options have been applied to them. So a real high level overview of how many jobs are coming into the print room. So quick snapshot of how busy the print room is at any one time in particular. Okay, there's detailed reporting available within the print room management software. So you can get full reporting by user. So you can look at the various finishing options of use, number of pages, etc. We can also take this information and plug it into the Pcounter reporting engine. So within Pcounter, you can then report on print room activity. Once the information goes into Pcounter, you don't get the full detail, so you wouldn't be able to look at individual finishing options within Pcounter of individual jobs. But what you can do is just report on the costs and some high-level information such as number of pages and number of copies, etc. So this means within Pcounter, you're then able to account for all print and copy activity across the entire fleet. The print room management system, as well as being able to charge by user, you can also account by client code or department code as well. So if you've got staff using this facility and you want to give departments a certain budget, then you can charge against that respective client code or that respective department code. So in Pcounter, you run a report on department A, and then you may have a breakdown of individual users beneath the report on department A. And then you can view like the full print costs from each individual user, including volume that's been sent to the print room and volume that has been sent to a normal MFD or printer. So that's all then captured within Pcounter, giving you that centralized holistic reporting across the entire fleet. It also works with Pcounter balances as well. So within Pcounter, as some of you will be aware, there's the ability to apply a quota and or a balance to a user. So that's typically done in student environments especially, or guest print environments as well. So if a user who has a balance associated to them, wants to send the job to the print room, it can be charged out of their Pcounter balance. So we get the ability to charge for print room volume from Pcounter balance, and also the ability to charge it back into Pcounter against both user and department. So that's kind of like something that we've been asked for a long time now, and is now something we are able to deliver on. I know there's a lot of customers and partners out there that are after this type of solution, and that's something that AIT can offer now, which is obviously an excellent thing. Also, the software, the print room management software, kind of like a theme today has been the customization that's available with it. There's also ad hoc scripting that you can do as well. So if you've got a customer with like specific requests in terms of how they want the workflow to go, if they want automated workflow, you can actually create scripts to fit their specific environment, so it's extremely flexible. So you can really tailor it to specifically how an organisation wants the whole setup to go. Probably looking at the various different print room management products out there, this is up there with the best. It's extremely flexible, and the integration with the print room management, with the Pcounter side of things as well, really adds to it. So hopefully that was a very high level overview of the software. I didn't want to go into masses of detail right now. However, what I would like to offer, if anybody wants to see the product in more detail, actually see a live demo, see the workings of the product, and see it from more of a technical point of view or from a print room operator point of view, then by all means we'd be able to arrange individual webinars to run through the products in more detail. So that's it in terms of what I wanted to show you. So if you do have any questions or you need to speak to us, then we have our email address and telephone number there. As mentioned, there were a few questions asked throughout the webinar. We've got a number of people on today, therefore it means we've got quite a lot of questions. So what I'm going to do is, I've managed to bring the question pane up now. So I'm going to run through most of the questions here, as many as I can, and then any that we need to follow up on, then we'll do so post-webinar. So I'd like to invite you to add any questions you may have on your mind through the question pane. I'm going to be online for the next 15 minutes or so, just running through the questions that we have, and then if you want to get in touch with us post-webinar, then please feel free to do so. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. If you do need to leave now, if not, please stick around and I'll run through these questions. Okay, so first of all, we just got a few people asking questions along the similar line. Is a presentation going to be made available? Yes, it will be made available. I've also remembered to press the record button at the beginning of the webinar, so we do have a recording of it as well. So I'd be happy to circulate both the presentation slides and also the recording of the webinar. We'll probably post the recording of the webinar on the AIT website. Okay, has the job ticket got its own print driver, or does it link to the manufacturer's driver? So in effect, it's linking to the manufacturer's driver. So when we're using that file and print, what we're seeing there, though to the user, it looks similar to the driver and they get the same kind of experience. That is just a job ticket. What it will do at the back end is actually push it onto the driver. So if you've got, say, if you're using what we like to call the 1Q solution, and you select it to go to a pull print queue, all that's doing is just taking that job together with what the customer has requested and just pushing it onto the print driver and the pull print queue. So you still use a manufacturer driver at the back end, but from the customer's experience, the end user's experience, they've just got that one universal driver. Another question, so does Pcounter need DocuSuite to work with Printroom? In terms of what was shown there, then yes, it would need DocuSuite to work in that way. However, there are other methods available as well. I mean, the DocuSuite solution is, it's a fully blown print management solution. So if you've only got a very tiny print room, only doing a small number of jobs relative to other print rooms over the course of the year, the cost of the software, you may not be able to justify that. So we do have some cut down versions as well, if you like. We've got one called point of sale. So you'd have a user walk into the print room, say I want X number of copies, A3, I want these finishing options, etc. The print room operator can then just build that job up within the point of sale software. So it's almost like a tool system. So you just select the relevant options, which all have a price associated to it. You build up that job. It's kind of like a transaction builder, and then you can just charge that straight back into the print room. Charge that straight back into Pcounter, again against the user, against the department and user, and/or charge it from a customer's Pcounter balance. So that works quite neat in a smaller print room operation. It's quite a cost-effective method of doing it. Obviously, it doesn't handle the submission to the print room, but in terms of the accountability, then it works in that respect. Another question, can it run independently, as in the print management software? Yes, it can run independently, so it doesn't have to work with the print management system. It can work as an independent system, and often it does. There's various add-ons to the solution as well. So we showed the manager and the ticketing part of the software there. You've also got what's called like the forms part of the software, which is an add-on module. So that might be where you've got, for instance, imagine you've got a utility provider. The utility provider sending out thousands, if not millions, probably millions, depending on the size, of letters every year. Those letters, the actual template's going to be similar, but you're going to have little differences between different templates, and obviously you need to populate different customer details, different address details, account numbers, billing details, etc. So there's part of the solution that will handle that as well, so that kind of like mass mail type scenario. It's also got an add-on which handles that as well. So if there's anybody who works in that kind of environment or works with a customer who's got that kind of need, then this can offer a solution there. There's also an add-on to the actual job ticketing part of the software as well, called DocuCollate. So it just allows the user to, within the job ticketing software, to take multiple documents and collate them into one job. So that's an extra module which is quite inexpensive, so it's not much to add that on. But yeah, the software will run as a standalone. Okay, another question. Does this work and monitor local printing, so USB or direct TCP or IP printing? This wouldn't. The job needs to be submitted through the ticketing software. So when you do that, it goes into the print room portal. There is an auto print option which can be enabled. an additional option whereby if a job comes in and it can be printed without manual interventions. I mean, some finishing options require an operator, but if there's a printer free and the options which are being requested means that the job can be printed automatically, there is an auto print available, and there's also an auto split as well, so you can split jobs. So you can print coloured pages on one device and mono pages on another device. In regards to monitoring local printing, within Pcounter, we do have the option to monitor local printing through a workstation manager. So we actually apply a client to the actual workstation, and any local printing that's done is then logged at the workstation level and then sent back to the Pcounter data server. So you can pick up the local printing using a Pcounter add-on. Okay, somebody was expecting a Pcounter overview. Apologies, it was more how Pcounter integrates with the print room, or how the print room integrates with Pcounter, whichever way you want to look at it. We do run regular Pcounter overview webinars, so we'll get in touch with you post webinar and set something up. Okay, another question, can you decide to charge your different departments at time of submission? Yes, you can. So where we're integrating with Pcounter, within Pcounter, you can have multiple codes associated to one user. So like the MFD, when they're releasing the job, they can select different department codes. You can also do it through the ticketing software. So yes, you can charge your different departments. So we can integrate directly with Pcounter client codes, and that therefore allows the user to select departments from different departments that are associated to them. So one user can charge multiple departments using the software. Okay. Okay, so somebody asked if this is Sean presenting. No, it's not, but similar Yorkshire accent, so that might be the confusion. This is Neil Bellaby presenting, sales manager at AIT. Sean works in our technical department. But the following question was, is AD integration supported with web submission? And the answer to that is yes, it is. Okay, is there a single sign-in option for the web portal? We need to look at what we're working with. Potentially, yes, but it is on a case-by-case basis. So if there's anything specific, then do let us know, and we'll get that investigated for you. Okay, what operating systems do you support? I need to double check this. I do believe that the actual software needs to be installed on a Windows server. However, I'll follow up post-webinar just to confirm. Okay, can you change the job after submission to the print room? You can, not in an automated way. There is the facility to contact the print room via the portal, and via the software, or you could simply obviously pick up the phone and do it. But yeah, once you've okayed everything and sent it on to the print room, that arrives in the print room portal. So effectively, they could have already started working on it. So if you wanted to make changes, you would need to contact the print room. Is there an online proofing approval process for the print room submission? Yeah, there can be, yes. Yeah, so there's specific ad hoc developments what we can do to kind of, if the customer's got something specific that they require, then we can customize the software in most cases to match their requirements. Can you have multiple ticketing options apply to different groups of users, such as cover only available to restricted group of users? Yes, you can. So you can limit what options the user sees. So you could do that, say, by AD, active directory groups, for instance. So that's not a problem. Okay. We do have one person asking quite a few questions. So what I'm going to do is arrange for a follow-up session. We can get into more detail. Okay, a question here, can Docker Ticket integrate with existing print room Prisma software? My answer, I think, would be a no. I would need to double check, but I think that's probably quite unlikely, but I shall check that. Okay, quite a good question here. How does it work with devices not connected to the network? For example, personal tablets, smartphones, mobile printing options. Okay, so if you wanted to send a job to the print room from one of those devices, then you will be, as long as you can get on the organisation's Wi-Fi onto their wireless, then you'll be able to use the web submission option to be able to upload a job. Now that would be a problem on iOS devices because they don't handle web upload too well. There's only certain file formats available. I'll need to check. There may be the option to do an email submission as well, which would work obviously from any device that has an internet connection. So I will check that and come back to you. One question, can you set a request time at the point of print? Yes, you can. So if you wanted to, in the job ticket, you can actually give different options as to when the job needs to be done by. So works quite well in a charging environment, for instance, or where you're charging back to the department. Obviously, if you want a job quicker, then it's at a slightly higher cost. But yes, you can actually give timed options. So you could have, job processed by 9 AM following day, within the next 48 hours, etc. Okay. If there's any questions I've missed, I will follow up after the show personally with all the relevant individuals. As mentioned, that was a very high-level overview of the print room management solution. If anybody wants to see that in more detail, then we can have that arranged. So do let me know. I'll follow up on any outstanding questions. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for spending the time to listen in on the webinar this morning. Hopefully you found it useful, and hopefully it's a product that you are interested in. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. As mentioned, the slides and a recording of the webinar will be made available, so should you wish to access them at a later date just to refresh your memory, then you'll have the opportunity to do so. You may just want to listen to my voice, probably not though. But yeah, thank you for attending today, and we hope to speak to you in the near future. Bye-bye.